I quit. This is what I told my manager, May of 2022, almost out of nowhere. Because you see, what that day, before I made that decision, a few days prior, we had decided to extend my work contract. And I was preparing to continue for one more year, wherever I was working back then. But then the night of my 31st birthday, I was 30 years old and I was about to turn 31. There is just this wave of crisis, midlife crisis or quarter life crisis and burnout. They mixed together. And I was just feeling like I'm on an autopilot and I was questioning so many things. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced such a thing. I think I've heard people talk about like when you turn into another decade, like if you are in your 20s and you're about to turn into your 30s, or if you're about to turn into your 40s. I don't know, I've heard people say they start that internal reflection and you start questioning so many things. You start questioning the work you do. Is it adding value in the world? The relationships you are in, are they fulfilling? The things you do, are they impactful? What if you die the next 2 years? What do you want? What legacy do you want to leave behind? If you've never experienced that, I can assure you it's coming sooner or later. I think if you're a reflective person, you will definitely go through some crisis. The intensities and the timing, I think they differ based on person to person. But I've heard so many people talk about that. If you have experienced a crisis, comment down below so that we know, or we can confirm that I am not alone. But anyway, the night of my first, when I was turning 31, I'd never experienced a crisis like that in my life, or that deep self-reflection before, never. I had kind of been going through some sort of autopilot, following a script that was well written by society, or maybe, I don't know, whoever wrote it. But the script that I was following pretty much was like, go to primary school. Literally, since I went to kindergarten, I had never taken a break, unless you count the COVID break, which I don't count it because we were still working virtually. So it was still working, but at home. So it wasn't really a break. But since I went to kindergarten, I was just following some script, like go to primary school, go to high school, then go to undergrad, get your bachelor's degree, maybe go to your postgrad. I did a PhD. Even after the PhD, I was like, is there anything else in this academic ladder? And I was told there is a post-PhD. I did a post-PhD. So, and to be honest, when that crisis came, it was towards the end of my postdoc. It was towards the end of my post-PhD. And for the first time in my life, I just realized that, gosh, I'm at the end of the ladder. I've been following this ladder that was kind of well laid out. Like I just knew after primary school, you go to secondary school like that. And then all of a sudden now I'm at the apex of my academic ladder. And I'm like, okay, so where else? After this, where else do I go? And I was so confused. Do I want to remain in uni to be a professor? Do I want to try something else? Anyway, just to say, on the career aspect, I was just asking myself a lot of questions and I didn't have answers. Also on the relationship side, I was in a relationship and I wasn't feeling fulfilled. And I was also asking myself a lot of questions. Why am I in this relationship that is dead-ish? I'm not feeling fulfilled. We are not helping each other. Why am I stuck here? Anyway, there were a lot of thoughts crisscrossing my mind. And I was just feeling like I had been on an autopilot, kind of following someone else's script. And I just yearned to, for the first time, just take a break, recalibrate, and perhaps write and follow my own script. And so that is what I decided. So I celebrated my birthday, and the following day, I literally made a decision. I packed all my stuff. I was working in the US at the time. I packed all my stuff and I told my friend, take care of my things. I'm done. And then after I did that, I wrote an email to my boss telling them I quit. I'm sorry, but I can't continue one more year as we had agreed. And my boss was like, Gladys, you can take a few weeks to think about it. You don't have to rush. And yeah, because it kind of just came out of nowhere. But I think they didn't understand that all those thoughts, the crisis was slowly building up in my system, and it gets to a point you can no longer postpone. So anyway, I'm here to report that I took a break, almost 2.5 years of break. And I'm here to say it was the most transformative time of my life. And I would like to encourage anyone, especially if you are in your 20s. I know we have like different paths, we have different journeys, but I now encourage everyone to don't wait for a crisis to force a break on you. If you can, I would like you to bake a mini retirement. I like to now call it mini retirement. I don't know, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, maybe in between jobs, maybe I don't know, but just try. I now encourage everyone to just take a break. Just take a break, like a break where you decide what you want to do with that break. So this is what I did. So I booked one-way flight to Nairobi, and my friends were like, "Are you crazy?" And I was also feeling like I'm crazy. It was one of the biggest risks I've ever taken in my life. But I just wanted that adrenaline rush to feel like I was alive again. Anyway, let me just tell you guys top 3 things that I did that count to this transformative journey during those gap years. So the first thing I did was to travel. I had never traveled like that before. I traveled to 13 countries in a span of 1 year. I was just like booking flights, going for visas, booking flights and traveling all over. I went to Namibia, I went to South Africa, I went to Ghana, to Nigeria. I applied for a Schengen visa. I went to Finland, I went to Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. I went to Sweden. I traveled. And if you've never traveled, there is just something about traveling that changes you. I don't know how to explain it. You have to do it yourself to experience that feeling. It just reminds you how small you are and how diverse and vast the world is. Because I think wherever you are, that big city you were born in and you've been working in, sometimes you feel like that is a big deal. But then you travel and you are like, there's just so many ways that people live life, and there is just no one way of living a fulfilled life. And anyway, while you are traveling and immersing yourself in different cultures, going into new countries, new cities, it just changes you. It changes your mind. And I now encourage, that is another lesson. While I tell you this story, I'll be sharing lessons that I've learned along the way. So again, travel locally, regionally, internationally. Just travel, plan and travel. If you plan and you're intentional about it, I think you will figure out how to go about it. But travel, it changed me. Number 2, I rested. Guys, I've told you, like since I started kindergarten, I'd never taken a real rest. Do you know, like you wake up in the morning, no email, no one is calling you, no deliverable. You wake up whenever you want, you do whatever you want during the day, during that week, during that month. I had never in my life, I was 31, and I had never experienced such a thing. Because while we are in school, when you are at home for holidays, even if you're not working, it's holiday, but your mind is thinking about the exam that is coming up when you go back to school. Or while I was doing my PhD, I would have holidays, but they were not really like vacation or holidays, because my mind was thinking about those parameters that didn't work, and I had to go and I have to think about how to finish my PhD. So like there was just some RAM in my brain that was still processing things and worrying about things. But during this gap year or during this mini retirement, literally nothing. Wake up in the morning, no one expects you to deliver on anything. It's transformative, guys. If you've never, at least purpose, if you can, to just experience that feeling, like just 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, where you don't expect an email, no one expects an email from you, or a phone call, or a deliverable. Like you just wake up and you just decide what you want to do with your day. And let me tell you, this is another lesson that I learned, especially for the creative people. You need to be intentional about creating those empty times where you just idle. And I think there is a book about, if I remember correctly, Alan Lightman. I hope I'm getting the name correctly. And the book is, the title of the book is, I liked it. I'm trying to remember. Was it The Power of Rest? In praise of wasting time. I loved the title. If you're looking for an excuse and strength to take a break, that is one of the books I want you to read. Alan Lightman, In Praise of Wasting Time. And in the book, he writes a lot about the power of, especially if you're a creative person and your brain is thinking about this creative project, you need that empty time, like that wasting time, quote unquote, where you are not doing anything, and your brain will bake things that you will be surprised. My brain baked things and conceived ideas that when I reflect now, it wasn't, without the crisis and the gap year, these things that I'm now proud of would not have happened. Number one is YouTube channel. This YouTube channel, this podcast, literally during that empty time, that wasting time, I was just like, I like sharing my ideas with the world. I had been, this is also something that I still do. I go to, whenever I'm home in Kenya, I go to schools and I talk to students, and I like public speaking. I like motivational speaking. I like inspiring other people. That is what we do here on GG and Inspire. And I was like, so during that time, just an idea came in my mind, and I was like, what if I create a YouTube channel where whatever ideas I have, like this idea of mini retirement, I can share with the world and inspire someone, or give a nudge to someone to also learn or be inspired by that idea. So literally that is what happened. I had never thought of being on YouTube, never, until that mini retirement time. And I created my GN Inspire on YouTube studio. I've spoken about this before. I do not know exactly where I would get content, like enough content to be consistent on YouTube. But I had a few ideas, like 5 maybe episodes, and that was it. But then, hey, now we are like 80 something episodes and still going. This is something I'm so proud of. Like, this is like my baby, literally. Like, it's a thought that came in my mind, and I formed it and I released it to the world, and it's now like my product, and I'm so proud of it. Number 2 of the things that my mind baked or conceived when I was idle and wasting time is to write lessons, insights from not only my life, but also lessons, insights from the people that I had now started hosting on the GN Inspire. And a title of the book just came out of nowhere, and it was like, Awaken Your Potential, by taking a mini retirement, by taking risks, by taking detours, by following your curiosity. And that is how another project that I'm so proud of, I think you can see it here. It's now in my library. I hope you can see it. I put there intentionally. But now this is how this book came, guys. I think you've seen, if you've not seen me posting about it, this is another thing that I'm so proud of. I'm so proud of myself for this. Like, this is something, this book, and I will read a paragraph for you guys in a few. I'll read like introduction. But literally, this book was born during that empty time, during that mini retirement, while my mind was like, what if I just share what I've learned so far through my academic journey, as well as my little career journey so far? And what if I also add lessons from other people, so that whoever is if you're in your early 20s, you can read these stories, relate with them, learn from the mistakes, etc. And so this is how this book was born. I literally wrote the entire book during that time. Like, I would just be seated somewhere, and then an idea would come, and I would think about, let me just show you. So I would think about like this. I'm not sure if you can see it, but literally I was just thinking about moments in my life where, so this title is like, Let Curiosity Lead You. And I was just reflecting to moments in my life where transformative projects have come. It is when I embraced my curiosity, and I was just like, what if I try a YouTube channel? Like, I was just curious about having a YouTube channel. Now we are here. We have you guys. We have a community, and it's still growing. And literally, those are the lessons that are in this book. I was like, this is another one. And it's Take Life as a Marathon. And I was just reflecting. I was like, and I've talked about it here on one of the episodes, that now I'm learning in my 30s that life is not a sprint. Like, if you sprint, you will burn out, and I burnt out. But like, life is like a marathon. You can detour and go to water stand, take some water. If you need to walk. But the most important thing is that the journey is really long, and it's okay to detour. It's okay to stop, to tie your shoelaces, as long as you don't stop there. As long as you pick it up after that, and one way or another you get to the finishing line. That is what I had learned. So literally, anyway, just saying this book is just like collection of insights, lessons, maybe mistakes that I've made in my academic journey, my career so far, that if you're a student or a young professional, I think you will learn a lot from this book. So those are the 2 things, so proud of them, that came out of that empty mini retirement time. I promised to read let me just read an introduction on this book. So, like I mentioned, this book was born out of a crisis. So this is the introduction. Let me read the introduction. The night before my 31st birthday, I attended the prestigious Schmidt-Sand's Fellowship Retreat. I was a Schmidt-Sand's Fellow. Schmidt-Sand's Fellowship Retreat in Washington, D.C., staying in a luxurious 5-star hotel, all expenses paid. My surroundings were exquisite, yet I couldn't fully enjoy the moment. My mind was elsewhere, gripped by a wave of unease and anxiety. The anxiety of turning 31 was all-consuming. The following day, after my birthday, I would begin my journey into my 30s. Interestingly, I had never felt the same level of anxiety when I turned 30. I craved something drastic in my life, something to jolt me back from an autopilot, from a script that I was following diligently. I craved something unorthodox, something somewhat crazy. I considered a tattoo. I actually Googled some tattoo places. I considered a career change. I considered getting married and having a child. I considered taking a career break. But each notion felt like a blip into uncharted territory, and I was scared. That is just a little introduction. If you like what I've just said, or if you want to read more about Awaken Your Potential, you can get it from Amazon. I'll put the link down below. And for you guys who are members of GN Inspire podcast, if you've not subscribed, please, I will not give you this promotion code. So make sure you've subscribed, maybe you've liked, maybe you've commented, and then comment down below if you're interested in getting this book, if you can get from Amazon. But also I will just figure out how to get you this book if you are elsewhere and you cannot get from Amazon. But the book is live on Amazon, which you guys can take advantage of. Comment down below if you're interested in getting this book, and I will organize a discount for you guys. But you have to be a member. You have to have subscribed, maybe commented or liked or shared. Anyway, I digress. Back to the story. Don't wait for a crisis to force you into taking that mini retirement. Please take one. Plan, be intentional about it. Take 3 months off where it's just time for you, where you just either rest or just follow some whatever curious things you've been curious about. These are top 5 lessons from what I learned from this mini retirement. The first one, I wrote it here, so let me read it out. The first one is that burnout is real. Listen to your body. Your manager will not listen to your body. It's only you who knows how you feel. When I was reflecting on this point, I remembered when we were young and maybe you wake up with a flu or cold, and your parent would call the school, be like, hey, school, sorry, my child is sick. My child will rest at home this week. My child is not feeling okay. Like that, there was a guardian who could recognize that you are not okay and would call the school to ask for permission. And I'm just realizing that when you're an adult now, pretty much you are on your own, and it's you to recognize that you're burning out or you're not okay, you are depressed, or you just need a break. Just recognize that and then take steps to take a break. No one will. Your manager will not. No one will. Number 2, rest is not wasted time. Like I mentioned, if you're looking for inspiration to take a break, to take a mini retirement, get that book from Alan Lightman, In Praise of Wasting Time. Read it and you will be inspired to waste time, quote unquote. Because I'm now learning that whatever my friends were like, why are you wasting 2 years of your life? You could have risen in your career. Yeah, that sounds good. But also, while I detoured and zigzagged, I've gotten to learn more about myself. I've gotten, like I mentioned, to start projects that I would not have started otherwise. And I'm proud of these creative or of these personal projects that I started in the process of taking that mini retirement or in process of wasting time. So wasted time, there is no wasted time. Yeah, you use it to rest, use it to explore other things. They don't have to be making money for you to consider it like it's a useful time. Money is not everything. Also, your health, your physical health, rest is still a currency, if you ask me. Number 3, it's okay to detour. I'm now really passionate. I keep talking. I think in this book I mentioned detour so many times. It's okay to detour. You don't have to follow that script written by someone else. It's okay if you are enjoying the journey and the script. It's okay. But if you're feeling conflicted, if you're feeling like you are on an autopilot because you're just following something that someone said you should be doing, that because you did this you should do this, or because you are in your 30s you should be doing this, that is their script. You are different, your journey is different. It's okay, take a detour if you have to. Life is not a straight line. This is something I'm learning in my 30s. It's okay to zigzag. Number 4, your worth is not tied to productivity. And I think it's related to, hey, take a rest. You don't have to be productive all the time. And in fact, I feel like sometimes when you take a rest, you come back with clarity and you will be able to produce even more. You are more than your job title. You are more than your money, the money you earn. You are more than your CV. Number 5 is just be kind to yourself. Just be kind to yourself. And this is what I learned painfully, that the world will not stop just because you are taking a rest and enjoying a beach time somewhere. The world will just find a way to continue, and you will find the world continuing. I mean, even if you die tomorrow, sadly, this is something that I keep thinking, right? Like you feel like, oh my God, if I take a break, I just feel like things will stop. Like if you die tomorrow, believe me, the world will just find a way to adjust or readjust. And so listen to your body, be kind to yourself. It's okay to detour. It's okay to take a rest, especially, and I wish I had known this when I was in my 20s, but again, I did not know. This is something I'm learning. If you can, of course, we have, like I mentioned, different life journeys, but please bake in rest, bake in mini retirement, be intentional about them. Just create some block of time where it's just time for you. No one expects anything to be delivered by you. It's just like your time to explore curious, creative projects that you have in your mind. I know you do have creative projects, just that you don't have time. So be intentional about that, and I wish you all the best.